Hi, welcome to I Love Palm Beach. Today we have Mark Wahl from Waypoint Home Inspections. And of course, we have my partner, Stephanie Coe. We're going to talk to Mark about this really amazing program that state of Florida has put into place. And it's going to help everybody with their insurance rates, help pay for some improvements to your home. And it's called My Safe Florida Home. But first of all, Mark, introduce yourself. And let's talk about Waypoint, the inspection company, first.
Thank you, Rebecca and Stephanie. As you said, my name is Mark Wahl. I'm one of the four owners of Waypoint Property Inspection and Waypoint Pest Services. We opened Waypoint in 2006 after moving down here from New Jersey, just like 3/4 of the rest of Palm Beach County. I had a corporate job in insurance risk management and decided to start a business on the side, which then, surviving through the 2008 collapse, caused us to grow because of our reputation. The company now basically covers half of the Florida Peninsula, as we have an office in Tampa. We also have an office in Orlando with 23 home inspectors and 22 support staff, including 5 global members in the Philippines.
Wow.
Which is amazing because you would never know they were there. They're just so good at what they do. So we started to participate again this year in a My Safe Florida Home program, which is a grant program issued by, I don't know if it was specifically by the Department of Insurance, but the governor has signed off, at last I'm aware of, another $100 million in grant money for Florida homeowners. Basically, somebody would go to the My Safe Florida Home website and register. They would be contacted by one of, and in this area, I believe it's 3 providers. One would be Internachi, one would be a company named Thomas Engineering or Don Myler, to schedule a free wind mitigation inspection. Once that inspection is completed, one of those 3 companies would then submit it to the state, who would then come back with the report and their recommendations to harden your house against hurricanes. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is they think, oh, well, I have hurricane panels and they're going to grant money to go to shutters. They're providing this grant for roofs that did not meet current code, which started in 2002, or if you do not have hurricane shutters, or you do not have impact windows or doors or garage doors. So you need to apply for the grant, be approved for the grant, and then use one of their vendors to get the work done that they're recommending, whatever you choose. You would then request a final inspection through My Safe Florida Home. Once that's completed, you would then make the final request to receive the grant monies. So you need to spend the money to get it back. It is $10,000, so you need to spend $10,000 to get $10,000. The good point is a lot of people don't have the money to necessarily do $15,000, $20,000 worth of work on their house, depending on what they're doing. However, if you know ultimately you're going to get money back based on their recommendations, maybe that $15,000 or $20,000 is ultimately nets out $5,000 or $10,000. I mean, myself personally, we filed for the grant monies and we're currently putting a roof on our house. The roof originally was $36,000, so now it's going to cost me $26,000, which still, while it's a lot of money, makes it a little bit easier to swallow.
Absolutely. So the vendors that are being used, their prices are good and fair, so nobody has to worry about that issue.
They've been vetted by the state. I know the roofer that we are using actually is also they gave very aggressive pricing in our community because there are about 16 people who are doing their roofs through the program. But I believe they're not allowed to price gouge because I believe the state would then step in and remove them from the program. And they're qualified vendors.
Right.
The roofing company we're using, I won't bring his name up, but they do approximately 1,000 roofs a year in Palm Beach County.
And what is the timeline on getting the work completed?
Well, if you've gotten your inspection and you've applied for your grant, generally the grant application takes 12 to 14 weeks for approval.
Okay.
While that's pending, I mean, you have a pretty good idea whether or not you're going to get it.
Okay.
I would then go on to their contractor list and start shopping contractors and getting estimates, because as soon as a grant is approved, you can begin the work.
Okay.
If you start it prior to the grant approval, you avoid your availability to get the grant.
Okay. So let's say you need several things done. Do you have to do all of those things? Like, let's say they do the wind mitt and they're like, well, you need a roof, you need a garage door, you need this, but you can't afford to do everything. So you decide, I'm going to do the roof. It's the biggest item. Does it matter that you don't do everything on
No,
the mitigation list? Okay.
not at all. Depending on what you do, obviously, if you're going to do hurricane shutters or windows, you're going to do all of them so that it encloses the envelope of the house. If you're only going to do the roof, it's going to depend. Obviously, if you've been approved for the grant based on the roof, you're going to get insurance credits for a new roof, as well as obviously having the new roof based on the current code. I have clients who have just done a garage door because they've got shutters and they've got a newer roof, but they don't have an impact rated garage door or hurricane rated garage door. So they do that. So you can choose whichever you want. You can't do I can't say you can't do partials. If you have 3 windows that are not protected, you can go and just do those 3 windows, and that then gives you an A rating for all your window protection.
Got it.
So maybe you do your 3 windows and a garage door.
Did I hear that correctly, where you said that they would get insurance credits even though they didn't have the qualifying items yet?
No, after they did the repairs.
Gotcha. But they wouldn't go into the policy with the repairs already grandfathered into, kind of thing.
No.
So their premium. Okay.
No, what happens is with the original wind mitt that they do, if you are making some of these improvements, once they do the final inspection, they provide you with the new wind mitigation, showing the new credit availability.
Perfect.
So I know what everybody's been asking me. Well, I don't want to have all this put in writing and the government's going to know and they're going to tell my current insurance company. So there are people that are afraid. They're not canceled. They have their insurance, but they're afraid if the insurance company finds out what their deficiencies are, they're going to get canceled. There's no reporting done, as I understand it.
No, you receive the wind mitigation. If you choose to submit it, that's up to you. It's free.
Right.
There are criteria changes in the program. Originally, it was homes that were valued up to $500,000, single family homes. I think that was it. Now they've changed the value up to, I believe, 700,000, and they're including townhomes.
That was my next question.
Now with a townhome, you only qualify for window protection.
Okay.
Because generally the roof, unless you're replacing the roof on the entire building, you will not get you won't get credit for it. And 9 times out of 10, while you may be responsible for the roof on a townhouse, they're the ones who are going to replace it, not you.
Right. I understand that.
And the interesting thing was when we started doing these, the people who we're now seeing final inspections for are the people with the money.
Right.
And they actually, and I'm not exactly sure how it works now, but there is also a low income version of this, which I believe is $5,000. But to replace a roof or to do all impact windows or to do hurricane shutters, you needed the money to do it.
Right.
So we were only seeing the higher end homes come back to us for final inspections.
Got it. I understand. So is there anything these people can do, or any of these contractors financing it for them until they get the money back? Or
I don't have an answer to that. I believe many of the contractors do offer financing. I know the roofer that we're using does offer it. I mean, it would be through a bank or through a credit card or whatever, but it would not be, I don't know who is doing it.
Okay.
I mean, I know some people do it through their home equity lines.
Right.
If they're lucky to have one. Unfortunately, most banks aren't writing those anymore.
Stephanie, do you have a question? I had another question and it went out of my brain here for a minute.
So, and kind of I'm sorry, I'm just wrapping my head around the whole topic and everything. So when they're doing the improvements, you said because they're kind of giving you the money to work with as you please, you can choose the type of roof that you want, right? You can upgrade to a tile or a metal roof or something like that if you wanted to.
Whatever. Yeah, You can put on whatever you would like. I mean, obviously, I live in a gated community, so we are restricted to the style of roof. However, we're able to change colors because they also changed the color palette in our community. So where we had a terracotta roof previously, we now have a beige antique color looking roof, if that's a word.
So there's no restrictions on the program, just obviously check with your HOA.
Correct. Exactly. Check with your HOA. If you're
That's
a
awesome.
single family homeowner out in the acreage or in Green Acres and there is no HOA, you can do whatever you want. Obviously, it's your house.
As long as it's going to be a roof that's going to be hurricane rated.
Well, anything installed now has to be.
Okay. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say one last one on the townhomes too. You said that the windows are the only thing that qualify because not the roofs, but what about if they have a garage and a garage door?
I'm not sure. I mean, they would have to check with the program. I do know in the conversations we've had with the vendors we work with who provide the inspections, the comments were window protection. But I would imagine
that's
a garage door
ADA
or a
protection.
front door would make sense.
Right. And then how does the $10,000 work? I don't want people thinking they're just going to get $10,000. So is it something like for every $2 you spend, they give you half up to 10,000?
Yes.
Is that how it works? Okay.
Correct.
So if you spend to get the full 10,000, you would need to spend 20.
That's the way I understand it. Yes.
Okay. All right. And go ahead.
So shifting off of this, obviously, we've got hurricane season coming around the corner. What are some
Already here?
We're here. Okay. What are some of the tips that you would tell homeowners to just kind of keep an eye on, whether it's, trimming their trees or whatever it is, just good habits before?
Well, basically anything that you have around the property that's loose, small pots or whatever, grill covers, propane tanks, you want to secure them or put them in the garage. As far as trees, obviously, as a homeowner regularly, you want everything off your house, just from a pest standpoint and from a damage standpoint. Want to make sure if you already have hurricane shutters, that you service them and spray them with silicone to make sure that the locks are working and that the hinges work. If you have panels, make sure you can get all the screws out that the panels are hung on. That's the worst feeling in the world when you're a day and a half out from a Category 2 hurricane and you painted your house 3 times and you can't find the screws in the wall because you painted over them 3 times.
Yep. I couldn't get my shutters closed last year.
Yeah, I mean, just go out to Home Depot and buy just pure silicone. Don't use WD-40. It's the worst thing in the world on the outside because it attracts dirt. You just want pure silicone that attracts nothing. Spray the top of the hinge and it'll drip down in and it'll help to make them work. If you have a generator, make sure you have the generator serviced. Make sure the oil's been changed. Check it, make sure it works. But we have a lot of people who, unfortunately, when they use the generator, do what's called backfeeding through an electric dryer, where they will plug the generator feed into the dryer and backfeed through the panel. First of all, I don't recommend it. Second of all, it's highly dangerous because when the power comes back on, the poor guy on the pole, if you don't have the main on your house shut off, gets knocked off the pole when it backfeeds to the transformer. We have a lot of us who own whole house generators. Just maintain them. So it's just common sense with hurricane season, patio furniture, whatever. You want to make sure you've got places to store everything.
Well, what's your prediction for this hurricane season? Are we going to have a visitor?
You know what? I haven't really looked at it that hard yet this year because obviously in yours and our business, it's not something we want to see.
No, it's
fortunately, it's been quiet. We have the Saharan dust out there, which is knocking things down. There's supposedly an El Nino brewing, which helps more. My only fear is the water down around the Keys is about 102 degrees right now.
I know. Mm-hmm.
Not only is it killing off coral and fish, but you get something into there and it's like the storm last year. it hits Tampa Bay and it's just going to explode. So I'm hoping we've already got what we affectionately call the three-headed hydra in our industry: high home prices, high insurance prices, and high interest rates. We don't need head number 4 coming.
No, we surely don't. And just because I know you love Palm Beach and you live and work.
Absolutely.
And any tips for agents? I know I just learned something new about your company the other day, and that was the pre-inspection. I'm going to let you briefly mention that, and we're going to release you.
Well, we actually have a new product we're going to be onboarding in the next couple of weeks that I'm not specifically allowed to speak of.
Okay.
But if you are doing a pre-listing inspection with us, with Waypoint, we're going to have a product that you're going to get a summary of what we found at the inspection in a separate report provided by a vendor.
Okay.
That summary is going to show you approximately what we have called out costs of repair in general categories. You then would have the option to purchase the full report through the vendor, and it will take in the summary report will say sheetrock, roof, plumbing, electrical, whatever, and give you the total for that category.
Okay.
The detail report will then break it down
Okay.
per item and give about a 98% accurate price to repair that item.
Okay. Great.
What it then enables you to do is they have a national contractor who is capable of making all the repairs at the pricing that has come in.
Wow.
They guarantee that pricing. No money has to be laid out up front. It will be able to be paid at closing through the HUD. If for whatever reason the homeowner doesn't, the sale of the house doesn't go through, what we learned on Friday is there's going to be an option for the homeowner. They're going to get a 12-month interest-free loan. So if they did all this work to better their house and either they chose not to sell it anymore or the contract didn't go through, they then will have a 12-month loan interest-free to pay off the repairs.
Wow, that is wonderful.
We are going to be one of only a couple companies in the area that will have this as an option. We've always thought, and you just saw the report we did for your listing, we always recommend doing them before a house hits the market, because then you have an opportunity to fix those little naggy repairs. Or the homeowner, if they're in a position to, can make the major repairs.
Right.
If it's an old air conditioning system, or if there's an active roof leak, or if there's a pest control issue, even. Yeah, we go up into the attic, we find that there's a rodent activity. Well, guess what? Waypoint owns a pest control service. We can help to resolve that problem.
Right.
That's why we've become truly one of the only one-stop shops for everything in the home inspection industry. So, I mean, it's something that we'd love to talk more about. We actually we have coming up in about 2.5 weeks, and we'll be putting it out through social media. We also offer CE credits to realtors. We
definitely want to have you come in and do some training with some of our agents for sure.
That would be great. But this next one, I believe, is actually on Zoom.
Okay.
The 3-hour new construction class.
Okay.
Which
wonderful.
you get 3 CEs. And I believe September 30th is the next time everybody's got to have their CEs done. So why not get it for free?
Absolutely.
September, we're going to have an activity in our office that'll come out. We're doing headshots with a professional photographer for anybody who wants to register. So all of these things we give back to those we work with.
Well, we're excited. I have some agents that need some headshots, and mine could use an update too.
They're not going to look like Photoshop.
That's what I need.
The photographer we use for our company, she's a professional real estate photographer and does amazing work.
Well, I am super excited. Stephanie, any other questions for Mark?
I mean, you covered a lot here. Obviously, there's so many questions that I have on the buying process. There's a million different things that we could ask you. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 or something. But thank you for the great information. I'm excited to be able to share this program with other people. I think it's going to be a game changer across the board.
As soon as I have all the marketing information about it, which should be in the next week or 2, you'll be the first ones we share it with, because it really is a game changer.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm super excited about it. And I promised you 20 minutes. We are over,
That's
but I'm
fine.
going to let you go eat your lunch. It was wonderful to talk with you. And you have to say, I love Palm Beach.
I love Palm Beach. Been here 18 years. Don't plan on going anywhere.
All right, good. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you. Have a
guys. Have a
great
great one.
afternoon.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.